Foreign hotel brands are failing when it comes to marketing to China.
We've recently done some research into how hotels in Southeast Asia, Europe, and the United States are managing the Chinese market through digital channels, and I was shocked by what I discovered. I'm not sure if it's because of the prejudice, fear, or just seeing the Chinese language and throwing it into the too hard basket. But what I have found is that on the whole, overseas destinations are doing a pretty dismal job at marketing to the right target audiences in the mainland and failing to engage, address issues, and follow up with their guests, which could be costing companies millions of dollars in potential revenue.
Over recent years, Chinese tourists in some places have received their fair share of bad press. Some $0 tour scams, buffet madness, hygiene horrors, and in-flight mayhem. Some people, after seeing these kinds of things, might think that they want to avoid the Chinese market altogether.
It would be crazy to ignore the Chinese market, however. And right now, we are at the point where the China travel market is undergoing a huge change, and the horror stories of the ugly Chinese tourist in the coming years will hopefully be a thing of the past. Right now, the population of China is around 1.41 billion people, and 72% of those are aged between 15 and 64 years old.
By the end of 2021, it's estimated that over 240 million Chinese citizens will hold passports. And while only 2 years ago, almost 70% of Chinese travelers traveled in groups. By the end of 2021, over 60% of travelers will be upwardly mobile, fully independent travelers, or F.I.Ts.
You need to forget the horror images that you may have seen of Chinese tourists in the past and start to see the reality that is emerging. A recent study showed that the average Chinese tourist on a 3-day package will spend around $1,300 on shopping, dining, and traveling around. This doesn't include the cost of their accommodation. In comparison, the average US tourist will spend around only $500 on these same things while on a comparable trip.
Wait, it gets better. Right now, there are a total of 324 billionaires in China with an accumulated wealth estimated at around $981 billion. That puts them in second place in the world on the billionaire totem pole, with the US being number one with 670 billionaires, holding an accumulative wealth of $311 billion. The next country to come close to China is Germany, with 114 billionaires.
Despite what you might hear from some media outlets, the wealth in China continues to grow, and with it is a new, young, educated and cashed up generation looking to explore the world and make their mark.
In 2017, 1 in 10 Chinese travelers would have fallen into the affluent tourist category, and each of these travelers spent on average 5 times more than the average Chinese traveler abroad. As this number continues to grow, now is the time for hotels and other travel-related companies to really focus on their China digital strategy. The good news is that Chinese travelers are smart, digitally savvy, and know what they want when it comes to travel. Less and less is traveling in groups, and more are making decisions based on their own research and referrals from people that they trust.
The bad news is that all of those digital strategies that you're using right now for Facebook, Google, analytics, retargeting audiences, pixels, and cookie tracking is all useless when it comes to marketing to the Chinese market. From over 10,000 hotel reviews that we studied, over 98% of properties failed to respond and engaged with the guests leaving responses. Of those that did respond, many of them just used boilerplate cut and paste responses, which risked making them look worse than not even having engaged at all. Google Translate is not enough.
Chinese digital channels are amazingly abundant and advanced, but work very differently to digital channels outside of the mainland. People who try to approach these channels in the same way that they manage social media through Facebook and Instagram end up failing and losing a lot of cash in the meantime.
If you really want to stake your claim digitally in China and target the audience that you want and need, you need to be ready to invest a little bit of time first in learning about what makes the market tick. The language, the culture, interaction and engagement channels, and very importantly, the costs. Every part of China is different, and depending on who and where you're targeting, you'll need to tweak your strategy. There is no one-size-fits-all approach.
We'll be doing a series on digital marketing China, both online and face-to-face workshops, to help hotels and other businesses outside of China better utilize digital channels in China to achieve marketing goals.
Check out the description below for the next masterclasses and workshops that we will have scheduled. Or contact us and we can run one in-house for you and your team. Leave a comment below to let us know how you're engaging with the Chinese market.